All right, welcome to episode 131 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast, and I am your host, Jeremy Powers. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. There are 5 of us. I'm going to tell you right now, in the future, editing this was probably painful. But whatever, we're going to get it done. So, joining us as our standard normal guest, we have Steven.
High five.
Chris.
How dare you call me normal?
Our returning champion, Rachel.
Hello, here I am.
She's not dead.
I'm not dead. Contrary to popular belief, I am indeed alive.
She's not that much into Beetlejuice that she would try and cross over and go wait in that waiting room forever.
No, I'd rather not.
No one say her name 3 times.
Yeah, she'll just sign off.
I might, honestly.
Oh, God.
That's the way to send me away.
And then joining us on a more continual basis are used to be a guest, now one of the crew, Chase.
Fall 3, you cowards.
All right.
All right.
Oh, man.
For the first part of that joke, watch the very end of our last podcast.
Oh, that turned out great. I did not know you were going to say something when I cut that off. And I was like, oh, no, my bad.
My Freudian slip made it in. Hopefully that's got fixed in post.
Nope.
No.
I didn't know about it. I did not change anything. What do you mean, Freudian slip?
Oh,
God. Am I going to
great.
scrutinize that episode now?
No. I want to see what it's like to be canceled.
Oh, no.
That would be an experience.
God, if we had a listenership, I'd be worried, but it's like 3 people, so we're all right.
You know what? On a good day, it's
we love you people,
10.
though.
It's maybe 10.
Maybe
okay.
10. I like them, though. They're great.
Yeah.
they're good people.
They're turning away right now,
self-burn.
going, why do we do this? So let's find out why we do this and what we've been up to, and we'll start with that. Rachel, I know it's been a little while, so we'll start with you. What have you been doing?
Oh my goodness. I've been doing so many
the short
things.
version.
It's
Because you'll be here a while.
I will be here a while. No, I've been, I've been reading, I've been watching a lot of like TV shows on Netflix and stuff like that, but I won't go into what I've been watching. But I have been playing a bunch of games on my Switch because they're just sitting there. They're sitting there collecting dust or just, not installed and need to be installed, and I own them, so I should play them. So I started playing Astral Chain again today, forgot how hard that game was.
Yeah.
Immediately turned on Unchained mode and had a much better time with it. I bought Children of Morta. I don't know if you've heard about that. It's kind of a roguelike. It's got really good like narration, like in the sense that it the narration makes it kind of cozy and calming, but nothing about the game is cozy nor calming. And then I started playing Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I got it when it was on sale. Eiyuden?
I don't know.
I got that when it was on sale. And of course a good preparation for the new game coming out. It's very enjoyable. Beautiful game.
Rest in peace, producer.
Yes.
Aw.
Yes. Cat Quest, because I got the physical edition that has the 2 games on one cart, and it reads them as having a cart for each game in there, which is weird.
I've noticed. I've seen a lot of them that do that, and I'm kind of like, okay, it really screws up my front menu, but whatever.
Yeah, basically. I also got big yawn. I'm not even partway into the. I know, right? I'm back, and I'm already back at it. What can I say? I got Ghostbusters when it was on sale, so I started playing around with that.
Such a good game.
And played Endless Ocean Luminous. I haven't really been doing too much with it other than I'll play it for like 20 minutes at a time just to relax, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So and that's all I'm doing. My mom seemed pretty entertained with it when she watched me play it, and she's like, "Oh, you can learn about fish," and I'm like, "Yes, it's pretty cool." And I played and finished Duck Detective. It was very short.
I did like how that game plays in terms of a point and click on Switch.
Yeah.
Because you just move around and it was very context sensitive.
Yeah.
Oh, there
So
you
it
go.
was quick to get through, and then there was stuff you could search that you didn't need to, but
Yeah.
they were just self-deprecating humor and they were awesome.
Yeah. The voice acting was pretty good too, and I
Yeah.
did really like the art style. I felt it could have been more puzzly, but that's just coming from playing a whole lot of Nancy Drew games.
Yeah, knowing
growing up.
knowing how many games they've made, I think this was their test, and hopefully because of the positive reviews, they make something bigger and better.
They'll probably make a sequel.
Hopefully.
But it was really good, and they did end it in such a way that they could do a sequel. And then of course I played Little Kitty in the Big City, and I finished that. Like 100%ed it. I haven't found all the like cat hats. I haven't done like every little thing that I could do. But I finished the main story and got the cat back home. And it's just super cute and fun if you need a nice, like, just a time sink of a game on a weekend. 100% recommend it. It's adorable. You just do cat things. It's great.
Nice.
And then, of course, as I do every couple of years, I replay the Nancy Drew games. Starting with Treasure in the Royal Tower, because I had recently finished the first 3, like, last year when I was playing them with a friend. And then finally, I made a cool replica of a poster, a little flyer that you saw for less than a second in the Beetlejuice Beetlejuice trailer. I literally saw it, paused it, and went, I'm going to make that. And last weekend, I spent literally like 2 or 3 hours each day. Thank you. 2 or 3 hours like each day, just finding fonts, recreating assets, and just building it from the ground up in Photoshop. And I brought a bunch of copies into work and gave them to some coworkers on a team that I wish to get onto. So I hope that they were impressed, and it seemed like they were. And then I was able to give it to a certain individual on property who should have this in their spooky possession, which I will be, that's as detailed as I'm going to be about that while I'm recording. So, but needless to say,
no, seriously, just tell us who it is.
No. Needless to say, he was delighted to see it and hold it in his hands.
Nice.
It was great. It was great. Yeah. So that's I've been up to like a lot of other stuff, but that's like the basics of what I've been doing. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Well, it's good to hear at least what you've been catching up on.
Yes.
So, Chris, let's go with you next. What have you been doing?
I finished Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Ooh,
I even got through the Pit of 100 Trials, but I did not 100% it because
God.
there are tons of tiny little collectibles that I just don't have the patience for.
I feel you on that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near as far along as you. I've only gotten to, I just beat Hooktail before the show. So
I think you'll enjoy it. The remake fixes a lot of problems that the original did. So it'll be easier, at least, or at least more quality of life.
it's been good.
Aside from that, I used a Switch Online voucher to get it, and I don't know what to spend the voucher on otherwise. It's either going to be Xenoblade 3 or the Peach Showtime game. I have no idea. In the meantime, I've been playing Co-op Multiversus with Steve.
Oh.
As your resident large RPG player time sync person, I'm going to recommend Xenoblade.
If
I'd
Jeremy hears
recommend
this show,
starting
he
with the
will.
first one, though.
Yeah.
That's what stopped me. I have a
Yeah.
friend who is big into the Xena series,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, you could play this, but you're not going to know any of the references. So
Yeah, and then the DLC is gonna fuck with you. So it's
Are
better
you-
to do it from
Are
the
you
beginning.
not able to use the voucher on the first one? Is it
well,
not?
no, it's a specific list of games, so it's not
Mhm.
everything.
Oh.
Trust me, if I could, I'd spend it on Vengeance, but I can't.
What other?
I would say
What-
just for the variety of gameplay, you should do Peach Showtime.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that or let us know what else is on the list, and we'll help you decide.
We shall discuss later.
Yes, later, not on the show.
Fair enough. The multiverses, how's that coming along?
It's all right. I am personally not a fan of daily grind games, but
I'm loving it.
To each their own. That's fine.
Because they already rewarded people who downloaded the beta, so you get Jason for free. If you start logging in, you get Banana Guard from Adventure Time. Still another character for free.
Rachel's like, what?
If you had a lot of currency, what they called gold, they're no longer doing that. But then they changed it into what they called prestige, which got you something that a lot of people wanted, which was an alternate costume for Batman, which was the Batman Who Laughs. Only way to get him. But some of the costume changes actually have different voice lines, different looks and animations. And they have a thing called rifts that you just play with a friend, and it's just something you do not have to go versus your friends and other people to get further in this game. You can play through all the rifts.
That's the only reason I'm playing it with Steve right now. Honestly.
So we're just going through co-op story modes that they keep unlocking more and more of, and I was like, we can keep doing this. This is great.
All right. Well, we'll
There's
go ahead and
fireworks going on outside somewhere. I'm sorry. I'm like, what is that noise?
Don't hear it. That would explain why your dog was freaking out though earlier.
Yeah, that's good that you don't hear it, because it's quite loud and continuous, and I'm like,
it's like when my neighbor's doing lawn work. I'm like, oh my god, I can hear it. Y'all like hear what? We don't hear anything.
And I'm like, it's the 1st of June. Like, happy Pride, but wow.
Who knows? All right, well, Stephen, we'll go ahead and continue on with you then. What have you been doing since you've already started off with your multiverses discussion?
Well, other than logging in every day to get all the stuff for multiverses, which, it's addicting in its own right. I'm glad to see all the improvements they made, and I'm going to stay with it for as long as I can. I did finish a couple games, finished as in nothing more to do. Finished Duck Detective, even replayed it a couple times to see what I could do differently, to see what would change. Nothing really changed. Finished my Vampire Survivor DLC. Got every single unlock, every single bestiary, so I was like, okay, good. That's all finished now. I will say that the Contra mode is awesome because you actually fight a Contra boss if you make it through the entire time limit. So that was awesome.
Oh, wow.
And when they die, they make the sound they did from Contra 3. The meow. It sounds like a weird meow.
Like a dying cat.
Exactly. Speaking of dying cat, since I beat Cat Quest 1, and man, that ending. But Cat Quest 2 has a lot of improvements, but then it has one I do not like. I cannot zoom out on the map anymore to see where everything is.
That's weird.
It just gives you a big furry middle finger saying you cannot zoom out anymore. You have to do it this way. So I was like, oh, okay.
How dare they?
The game,
I wish they actually did that.
Yeah, the first game is surprisingly it's surprisingly challenging. So it's got a lot going
I did
on.
everything in the first one except for the one cave that has a level like 999 hedgehog or whatever, and he's impossible to beat because he hits you once and you die. So it's like, okay, never mind.
Well, I will avoid the immortal hedgehog.
There's good stuff around him. I did all that stuff around him, but then I was like, don't hit me. And then lastly, because we had finished all the other stuff like Evil West, Chase and I started Darksiders Genesis, which is like a nice Diablo-esque game. I didn't expect some of it to be so comedic, I guess, lighthearted.
So is that one local multiplayer only, or has it got online?
It's got online.
Okay, because I do have that one. I just haven't bothered playing it yet.
It's just I wish you could play as like all of them, but the other two are out on business, so you have to play as. Let's play. I'm War, right?
Yeah,
right?
You're War. I'm Strife. This is basically Strife's game, and it's kind of unfortunate because we're probably never going to get like what they had the original plan for the series, which was I think everyone was going to have their own game, and then the fifth one was going to be kind of like a bigger culmination,
like the Avengers.
Yeah, kind of because the idea was that each game was going to be going along the same timeline. It was going to be a parallel timeline, and then it was going to the fifth game was going to be them all coming together, like at the end of the first one. But yeah, it's still a fun game though.
It's unique, and it's one of those games I thought was weird because when you find the map, it just shows you where everything is, all the secrets, everything. Just go find them, just go get them. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I always enjoyed that series. I still have the collector's edition of the second one that has the mask, Death's actual mask. And I was hoping to take that to like a Comic-Con or something to meet the artist again, because I've talked to him before, and get him to sign that, because that would be great just to have that signed by the guy. So,
and then lastly, I'm enjoying watching Jeremy trudge through Snatcher. And I know he's going to come across some of the hardest quick trigger events you're going to have to do in the last act, because the one he already finished, I just said that was the easy version.
Yeah, you'll notice, like when I'm playing those in the video when these come out, you'll just see me just stop and just like this with this, like I'm just focused.
Yeah, at one point he's just like, I got this, and I was like, now you do. But I'm still celebrating it next June 6th.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be getting my pan pizza from Pizza Hut to dunk in my chicken noodle soup to replicate the Kobe pizza. It is always delicious. I found that recipe on the internet, and I need to do something different. I've played SD Snatcher. I've watched a playthrough of SD Snatcher. I've played through the game many times. I think I might try to see how far I can get in the Saturn version of Snatcher when no English patch exists. So we'll see.
One is being worked on. I looked into. They did part of the game.
Yeah, I did too, and they've given up on like every project to do with PlayStation and Saturn because they said they're inferior versions, and I was like, but I just want to play them in English.
I don't know, the Saturn one from the screenshots I saw looked really good. Like,
it looks great, but a lot of stuff's removed. I can show you.
Oh, gotcha. Some of the stuff we talked about before.
Yeah, somebody's head's missing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh no.
Yeesh.
That's not good.
All right. Next up, Chris. What do you? I'm sorry, not Chris. Chase. Good
Chris,
Lord.
what are you doing
I'm gonna get that
again?
mixed up.
Yeah. Repeat.
What have you been doing while we've been talking, Chris? Chase, what have you been up to?
Well, Gears 5's been on hold. I've kind of put Helldivers on the back burner, not because the game isn't fun, but just because I'm just not sure. There's a lot going on with the game right now, and I'm just kind of fine with them just ironing out some stuff.
They do have a new mission type we have to play, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Where we have to inject the Earth while tons of flying things that kill us.
Oh, God.
I did hear about that.
Tons.
Because there's they've had a lot going on, like the studio has, because like the CEO stepped down and went to like a chief creative officer.
Yeah.
And the new CEO's come in, and there's a bunch of stuff going on with like they basically want to revert like a bunch of like the balance patches that they originally made. They just want to like, because people have just been complaining about kind of how like puny the weapons feel and stuff. So yeah, I'm just like, I'm fine with them just ironing out some stuff before we get back into it. And then, oh man, X Defiance really been on the menu lately. I'm enjoying it, but I've got mixed emotions about it because I'm not sure how long the game's gonna last. Like,
did you see that one guy who got banned for being too good?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, but the problem is those that like you'll play games, and I kind of figured out why it felt like this, but you play a game and you'll have like a fairly decent like battle between two like equally matched teams, but then like the next game you get into, you'll get absolutely dumpstered. Like it'll be like if you're playing like King of the Hill, like the scores won't even be close. And then the next game you'll be the one dumpstering another team, and it's just like, and then I found out it's because they don't actually have like skill-based matchmaking. It's just kind of a free-for-all. So like teams can be just completely like unbalanced in skill level.
Playground rules.
Yeah, exactly. And some people are like really happy with it, other people are not, obviously. So I just don't know how fun the game's gonna last. For a lot of people, but I've been dabbling in a lot of the Warriors style games again the last few weeks.
Good timing.
Yeah.
We'll be
We'll
talking
talk
about that.
that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's all right. Like,
Stay tuned, people.
Yeah. Foreshadowing. No, it's been good. Like, I've played a lot of Dynasty Warriors, 8 Empires. Still pretty fun games. I haven't got back into the Switch ones yet, like Hyrule Warriors and whatnot, but it's probably on the menu pretty soon. Darksiders Genesis with Swan. Game's great. The banter between War and Strife is, like, we weren't expecting it to be as comedic as it actually is. So that was good. And then just yesterday, I went to a friend's place, played the Game of Thrones board game with the expansion, 8 players. That game is absolutely cutthroat, which you would expect, but it's absolutely cutthroat. One player just got ganked like right out the gate, and so he was just like, "Well, I'm not gonna sit here for 6 hours. Gonna see you guys." I was like, "Oh man, I feel bad," but that's a really fun game. And then we're still doing our Gloomhaven campaign on Wednesdays. It's always a fun time. Yeah, that's pretty much covers it for me.
All right. So we'll finish up and I'll go through what I've been up to or been doing. So once again, just to dive in, I've been having a blast playing Snatcher with Steven, going through that. We're through the first 2 acts now. The game went from comedic and horny to holy crap, this got dark to I'm really curious to see where the 3rd act goes. So yeah, that'll hopefully be soon. We'll get those videos up. We're not going to have a show next week because I have a Ghostbusters themed bar crawl that we are hosting and running. So I'll be doing that. And then the week afterwards, I am going out of town for a little bit. So we're going to try, if we can, to get an extra quarter recorded with me and Steven about Snatcher, which will be released after the 3 episodes of me playing it for the first time and Steven just kind of laughing at me and telling me, don't show your ID again. Because, I'm just like, hey, I'm with this. Yeah, that did not go well.
I'm a secret agent.
Yeah.
Check it out.
I can't tell anybody. See?
Surprise.
Yeah, that reaction's to one of my favorites. Like I said earlier, I've been playing Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door. Finally started playing that a little bit, which I got through Hooktail. Game's been absolutely phenomenal for how it looks. And I love how smooth it's been, like with hundreds of characters like diving in the screen multiple times. And I'm like, yeah, it's been
30
fine.
frames?
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, it's been fine. I have not given a damn. It has been great. Whatever. The other thing I've been going into, and I got some suggestions from a few of you, I've been exploring finally the Sega Saturn. I got a cartridge called the Saroo, Saroo. It does work. I thought it didn't at first, but you have to actually put the file system in. But pretty much every Saturn game I've put on it, I've been able to play. So I've been diving and exploring like the Saturn versions of Tomb Raider and Resident Evil and Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which actually adds in another character, which is Maria, and you can choose between them as you're playing. I found like English patches for a bunch of like Japanese games, or I can try out European ones. It's been great. But what also, Chris, you'll probably be happy to know, just the cornucopia of fighting games I have been into. I was playing Darkstalkers for a while.
Nice.
And it looks phenomenal on that thing. Like, man, the Saturn plays better than I ever really grew up thinking it would.
Well, the Saturn was a 2D powerhouse when nobody wanted 2D. So that was a whole thing in itself.
Yeah.
But Capcom supported it as much as they did.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was playing the D&D games on there a little bit as well, Steven, because I know you suggested those. Nice little beat 'em ups. So that's been great. So I'll be into that a little bit more. I'll probably end up streaming it over on the Discord a little bit as I dig through so we can mess with some of the games. Beyond that, I've been playing more Final Fantasy XIV, which, hey, I finally got my mount. That took forever. Jeremy and I pushed through to try and get it done because I had gotten a hold of the giant turtle, but I couldn't use it. And I was like, no, I want to use this thing. So now I'm running around everywhere on a big turtle, which is great. But I also ended up buying Final Fantasy 14 again. It was on sale this week for PC. So I picked it up so I can play it on my Legion Go, which runs phenomenally. I think it actually runs as smooth, if not better, than the Series S. And I can take it with me. So if I travel, I can continue playing it. Or I can sit in the room with the boys while they play, and we can actually all play together. So yay, family time on, massive MMOs. They hate the fact that I keep just skipping story. I'm like, yeah, just give me the mission. I know I'm going to go kill these things. I don't care what you're talking about. Let's go.
Ouch.
It gets boring. That is what stops me from playing RPGs. I'm like, just give me my mission. Let me go do it.
It's like me skipping the side missions and.
Oh my god!
I think was some of them, but some of them
I'll skip the side missions in Yakuza and I'll tell Chris that, and then he'll tell some of his friends, and they'll be like, "But those are the best parts." I'm like, no. They're getting in the way of my Yakuza.
I don't care why you want me to go kill a bunch of these bugs. Just let me go kill the bugs so I can get my XP and move on.
Jeremy's the Doom guy of MMOs.
Me, I haven't played Final Fantasy 14 mainly because I don't like hotkeying stuff. I don't like all the crap. I don't like everything's confusing. MMOs.
I play it with this and it's beautiful. It works fantastic.
MMOs make me very stressed out for the most part. I don't know why. They just do.
It's the numbers game. When you get into a big fight and you just see all that stuff, you're like, nope.
Yeah, you can turn a little bit of that down, which is nice. But I have to give Final Fantasy 14 credit. They have got controller support down pat. It runs great. Even on a portable PC, my Legion Go that I'm playing on, it's just like playing it on the Xbox that I've been playing.
The music's great, though, in that
music
game.
is fantastic.
I will say that.
Yes. I love the little
Final
tune
Fantasy.
that plays when I ride my turtle.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm having fun. That's what matters. So, and lastly, I wanted to talk about the ending of Star Trek Discovery. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I did really enjoy the show. I hate the fact that it got canceled. But even with that, when it got canceled, while they were wrapping up this season with the anticipation of the next season, they were able to go back, do reshoots, and actually close off the show really well. And even went back and closed off a time loop that everyone was kind of wondering about. So good on them for that. Kind of shocked they pulled that one off.
I love when they're able to do that and they're able to wrap things up.
Yeah.
That's, and then I hate how TV today is like, they almost have to end it where it ends because they never know if they're going to get renewed, which is very sad.
What leads to unnecessary cliffhangers?
It does. I myself have not watched Star Trek Discovery other than a few episodes. Wait, was that the one with Jason Isaacs in it?
Yes.
Okay. That's
nice twist on him.
Yeah, that's
not spoiling it.
That is I think the only reason I watched a few episodes. I haven't watched anymore.
The only thing I'll say is he has a really good heel turn. Yeah.
He's just a talented man. What can I say?
It's a good series. I think you'd like it.
Only show I've been watching is season 2 of Interview with the Vampire, which is mind-boggling right now. So,
but a lot of people would automatically they were like, "Oh, Discovery is the worst thing. It's not like Star Trek." I really liked it. Yes, they did have a problem where it'd be like the universe is at stake. Like really, maybe they were a little too big on the stories. But I liked how it was set up, and this last season really reined that in and did a lot better. If they'd gotten more seasons, I think the show would have just continued getting better. For a lot of how they had it set up, and they had some long-running plans. I guess they were probably thinking of like the normal. Almost all Star Trek shows get about 7 seasons. That's usually what they go for, except for Enterprise. Enterprise, they were like, kill it. Got like 4. Yeah, that's still the shortest one. So.
I can still hear that theme music in my head.
Yeah, which one? They had 2.
Of the first one. Like, literally, I can hear it.
Yeah, there's a podcast I listen to called The Greatest Trek and Greatest Generation. They tried doing a version of that as the theme for they started covering Enterprise, and they got copyright striked and had to make a parody one of it, which is now really funny. So.
I think that's hysterical. I love that.
Yes. All right, so let's go ahead then and dive into our news because we have some fun stuff to talk about this week. But we've got one very important piece we need to touch on first. Rachel, we're going to give you a couple minutes to talk about the Beetlejuice trailer because we have waited patiently because we were all agreed we are not talking about this until you are here because that just feels dirty. It's just wrong.
Well, I appreciate you
so,
guys.
Rachel, the floor is yours.
Well, oh my gosh. Like, listen, when they were, mentioning that they were going to drop the trailer all day Thursday, I was like, when are they going to drop it? When are they going to drop it? When are they going to drop it? And then I finally get back to my desk at work and they drop it as soon as I sit down. I pick up my phone, I walk into my boss's office, and I make eye contact with her and she goes, oh, did they drop the trailer? And I go, yes. And then, so I just pop a squat next to her and we watch it on my phone and are giggling the entire time. I've watched, I think, the trailer at least 10 times now. All of you guys have watched it.
Yeah.
The trailer, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Like, just quick, spout off.
So
it was funny.
I got two things. It's just like, I remember Beetlejuice in the original got like, what, 7 minutes? Really, of screen time?
Not. I think it was more like actually like 12.
Okay, well, he didn't get much.
Not much.
So
or 17, 12 or 17.
Some people are worried that they might get too much Beetlejuice. Which I can understand that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the lore and everything, especially Monica Bellucci's missing finger.
Oh yes, yes,
that very interesting lore.
She meant nothing to me.
But I really hope they fix that airplane scene because that looked like PlayStation 1 CGI.
It's not CGI though. It's not. So all of it is practical effects. Anything that looks CGI, that looks bad CGI, is because it's practical effects that have had some like smoothing done to make it look a little more smooth. Maybe they overdid it with the editing, and that's a little why it looks bad.
People were kind of like iffy about the airplane, and Christian said the sandworm was CGI.
I'm about to say, I think they said they're still using stop motion for a lot of that.
No, it's
a
stop
lot
motion.
Of things, especially even like Beetlejuice's like surprised look. I was like, cool, practical effect.
Anything that's gonna look like, oh, is that CGI? It's literally just smoothing as part of the editing process. And
so
when a lot of
janky, it's practical. Okay.
Yes, if it looks janky, it's because it's practical. It's on purpose. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, that looks janky. One thing to remember is that way back when, film wasn't as crisp and clean and smooth. Technology is better, so it's not going to look grainy. It's not going to look old. Even with like 4K editions and Blu-ray and all that kind of stuff, you can still see the age of the film, and it still looks the way it does because of when it was filmed. Now with technology being so new, of course practical effects are going to look a little weird because you're doing practical effects with modern technology and modern like cameras. So that's another thing to think about as well. I'm excited to see more of the Netherworld. That is the big thing for me. I'm not as bothered by everyone else of Beetlejuice getting more screen time. But I think there's going to be like, he's not going to like, they have been saying since the very beginning that this is primarily about the three Dietz women, essentially. That's what it's the primary part of the story, and all that interwoven how they interact with each other. Like that's a big thing. So Beetlejuice obviously is important, and he's the title character, and I think he will get more screen time than the original, but I don't know that he's going to get a huge amount. I'm fine with
lion's share of it. Because there's so many other people that are in this as well.
It's a lot. Did you guys catch the blink and you miss it, Danny DeVito?
Yeah, he did not look well.
No, he did not look well.
He looked very dead.
I liked all the little Easter eggs. So you saw Lydia's picture frame on Beej's desk. Of course, they got another flyer in there. The return of Beetlejuice's very interesting graphic design choices. And God, of course, the missing finger thing. I loved that. Like, everyone was like, "Oh man, is it going to be her? Is it going to be the thing?" And then basically confirmation in the trailer. What I liked about the trailer is it gave still like the teaser, it gave the overall vibe of the film without giving away too much plot. Like, it's still like you're seeing action and you're just like, well, wait, how did they get there? Wait, how did this happen?
I have one thing that has to be answered in this movie.
Okay.
How the hell did they unshrink his head? I just want to know that, and then we'll move on.
Another witch doctor. Maybe Juno did it. I don't know.
Well, it seemed like the shrunken head guy is like his assistant or
Bing
something.
Yeah. Bing bang. What about, exactly. Steven got it. He knows how it works. But I'm very excited for it. It looks very, 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 very good.
They need to make a third one though to complete the proper title.
Okay, so
it's kind of already completed it though.
But hear me out. In the first movie, you've said it the first time, Beetlejuice, right? The second movie, you say Beetlejuice. So it's already been said 3 times.
Yeah, but now we have to put it back.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is putting him back.
Then they're going to do Son of Beetlejuice and get Jamie Kennedy to play Beetlejuice.
Oh boy.
Never.
I did
Jamie
like
Kennedy should not have work.
I did like the overall vibe though. It had some very cartoon inspired moments from the Beetlejuice animated series where it felt like, oh, it's Beetlejuice and Lydia going on an adventure in the Netherworld.
I wonder if that'll be like coyly hinted at, like maybe not directly, because I know it's kind of a different story the way that goes, but it'd be kind of a fun.
There's more lore in the cartoon series, whether it counts or not.
Well, I mean,
it was great.
It got there. I mean, the shrunken head guy. The fact that he in one scene he's in a yellow suit, hair. That is literally just copy paste out of the cartoon, 100%.
We'll have to see.
Of what Harry the Hunter, I think his name was Harry.
Right.
Yeah.
Holy crap! I forgot about that.
Yep. But and also I think too that listen, if we get a Prince Vince like reference, I will be like, okay. Yeah, take my money. I did tell my friends, a lot of my friends though, that live down here. I said, listen, if you don't have anyone to go with to go see it, just literally text me. I will go as many times as my friends want me to go. I don't care. I will fund the success of this movie myself.
She's gonna get arrested trying to film it on her phone. Be like, I deserve this. I should have a copy now.
Oh no, I'm not. I will not.
Well, she would watch it in between paying for actual watchings. I mean,
but it warms my heart and it makes me very happy that after all this time we're finally getting the second film. And yeah, but that's it.
All right.
That's all I had to say. If anyone wants to talk more about it and listen to me gush about other little detail stuff, we could do that at another time.
I just hope it's more Top Gun Maverick and less Dumber and Dumber 2.
I will repeat what I have said to literally everybody in a Discord that I am a mod for that is literally centered around the Beetlejuice fandom. If it was bad, if it was any scale of bad, Michael and Winona would not be doing it. I'm just saying. Neither would Tim.
One last quick question then, Rachel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You think you're going to get a new toy line from it?
At least a popcorn bucket.
I don't.
Well, we're going to get a popcorn bucket. It's going to be a sandworm. That's going to happen.
We're getting several Beetlejuice themed like merchandise items that are at the movie theaters. Like they already posted that like weird shadowed teaser about it like months ago.
There's already Beetlejuice mints at my grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
There's a whole merch line on the way. I'm sure.
All right.
But I don't know about toys. I do
just
know that
remember those toys from when I was a kid.
I do know that Sideshow Collectibles already has that crazy expensive Beetlejuice that has actual hair. So there's that.
Yeah, that's. When you say Sideshow, I'm just like, I can't afford that. That's
neither can I. Literally, one of my friends was like, "Are you going to get this?" And I'm like, "You could buy it for me."
You know where I work. This ain't happening.
Yeah,
I just want a Beetlejuice head so I can put it on a pool noodle and be like, "We've come for your daughter, Chuck."
Oh yeah.
It's like me with drones. My boss be like, "You can order that new drone." I was like, where I get, how much I get paid. I can't do this.
But yeah, so if anyone wants to talk about it, we could talk about it another time.
Yes, find us over on the Discord because she'll be talking about it there, and we'll be talking.
Now
about
let's get to the depressing side of the news.
Yeah, now that we've had the fun, let's go to the.
I will only talk about one thing in this upcoming news story because it's the only thing I care about. The rest of it can just
I have
jump in
something
a
to say
lake.
about all of them, but not good.
Me
things.
too. I've already put a little bit of my notes in here, and they're not flattering. But let's go into this. All right, so Sony had a state of play, and how do they keep screwing this up so bad? Like,
state of dismay.
You have so many chances, and they've had good state of plays before, but
you should have
ended on a high note for me.
You should have heard the absolute clowning in the clown car on Twitter over this. People were like, Kingdom Hearts 4? And I'm like, start lacing up your shoes, buddy.
Yeah, that's not happening, buddy. So to start off, we have Dollar Store Guardians of the Galaxy. Concord, which is this is a 5v5 online multiplayer shooter from Firewalk Studios.
Those are Bungie guys.
Immediately, we're talking about we're going to show this game in engine on PlayStation 5, and then immediately cut to nothing but pre-rendered videos for the first.
To be fair, they said, "Here, watch this vignette first."
True, but then we found out that video you watched is all the story gameplay you're going to get. That is the only way, because they'll add videos later, but that's the only way you get stories. Little videos they add in there. Everything else looks like Overwatch. Just Overwatch.
But that is the Overwatch thing, is you give stories behind the characters to make you like them, hate them.
True.
But you don't get story mode.
But it's like, can you imagine if the Guardians of the Galaxy game, which was actually really well done, was just shooting without all the extra stuff, and then the stories were just cutscenes instead of like the interactions between them? It's weird because they're so focused on it being a group of misfits together. It feels like it should be kind of like a combination adventure type game. Even if it's a shooter, you could still have those mechanics. But I'm already placing bets. How long before this is canceled and people just no longer can play it anymore? Like, are we going to get a year out of it?
No one's going to care. Just like nobody cares about Overwatch 2.
I think Sony meddled with their stuff, so I think they put in stuff that's not going to do well.
So I've been noticing a trend, and this furthers my theory, is that everyone's like, well, maybe game developers are just getting lazy. I'm like, no, they're not. They're not getting lazy.
That's a skill you have to have.
And I said they are because of contracts and money and
deadlines.
Production support and deadlines,
and the necessity to eat and live somewhere.
They are forced to meet deadlines that are not feasible. Gaming is game design at this point is no longer seen as an art form, I guess, to large scale companies like Sony and even Microsoft.
Oh yeah, no, especially them. I agree.
And so it's just a cash cow, and so the only people that we can rely on at this point are indie developers and Monolith Soft, I guess,
which is part of Nintendo now.
And Nintendo, so.
Yeah. So, like, and in regards to that, a lot of this is also the fact, while the developers, they're not being lazy. I mean,
they're not.
People put that. The publishers are seeing, we can just put this out, fix it later. And that has become too easy. Yeah, no, doing what they're told or doing what they're contractually trapped in having to do.
It sucks.
I mean, they want to make something good. Like, even the most recent, I didn't have it in the news, but we'll talk about it real quick. Redfall. Their developer over at Arcane got shut down, but they still managed to at least push out that last patch to give it the offline mode to try and fix and improve things. Like, they wanted the game to be fun and be good. Just the whole thing became just a mess. So no one wants to make a bad game.
No one does. The state of the gaming industry, it's sad.
Shit.
And I'll tell you one thing, it's the TV industry and the movie industry are in the same boat, almost exactly, for almost the same reasons. So,
it's
just you have something to say, Chase? Okay, go ahead.
It's just the era we live in. Like, it's these companies, these large scale companies, they're all publicly traded. They're all beholden to shareholders. They have to make money constantly. The industry's unhealthy. You could tell it's unhealthy because they're constantly laying people off. Like, that's not the sign of a healthy industry. But the problem is that, they saw the money that like these tech companies and stuff were making. And so then, they got like, and there's multiple different like reasons why it's unhealthy. But I think one of them was because they started bringing over like these, forgive me for saying, tech bros. And they have they basically like have these tech bros trying to run the companies like tech companies. So everything's about infinite growth, infinite market cap. It's like, it's not about profitability. Like, guess who's not laying people off? Valve's private. It's a privately owned company. I did actually look that up, Jeremy, because I asked that question last week. So it's a privately owned company by Gabe Newell. And when they had a really good year, what happened? Gabe Newell bought all of his employees like brand new high-end gaming PCs, like just to say, hey, thanks, we had an amazing year. It's just like, it's a completely different like culture. It's a completely different idea.
Never in my entire existence did I ever think that I'd be like, oh, Gabe, cool, nice.
But it's just like it. Like, I think Nintendo, there's still some decent stuff in the industry. Like, I think Nintendo does things right, or they try to do things as right as they can for the most part. I mean, they're still going to do things to their benefit, but I mean,
I think Nintendo did disaster prep correctly.
They did.
For everything crashing down after everybody kind of got let out of their houses. And I think now they're in the perfect spot. And it has to be really good, though, when they strike.
Well, they kept their spending within reason. That was the biggest thing. Like, their budgets didn't balloon out like crazy.
I think the saddest part of all this is that the companies that are doing these things didn't used to be like this. Sony did not used to be like this. Microsoft didn't even used to be like this.
I've got a pretty, like, I had an amazing story from when I was a kid that had to deal with Sony, but that's for another time. But like we live in the, we live in the venture capitalist era. We live in the copycat era, as I like to also call it too. Like, where one developer finds success with something, and so everybody else has to copy it because they want a slice of that pie. But it's not just that they want a slice of the pie; they want the whole pie. So that's it, and that's why we're going to see games like, for all we know, Firewalk probably pitched a game that was probably like a discount Guardians of the Galaxy in its own way, but it was going to be, it was going to have its own flair. It was going to have its own kind of like, when a good cover of a song, like, a good cover, the band still makes it their own in a way. And I think that's probably what the original pitch was. And they were like, well, Overwatch is successful, so make it something like that. And they're just like, really?
Yeah, I think they wanted to monetize it, because when you first see the trailer, this game would have been an amazing brute force type game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Another problem is the fact that as soon as a game gets popular, everybody else wants to do it, but they need to spend several years to make that game, and there's no guarantee it's going to be that cool anymore.
Yeah, I think the other big problem with a lot of this is there's only so much of that pie you can get. The fact that, like, they
don't see it that way, though.
Well, they've already managed to squeeze in with Helldivers 2, where that little gap, like, they made a spot, and try as they might to screw it up with their little extras they tried to tack on, but they've actually managed to make a little wedge for them to have. Most of them don't make it beyond that. They can't all be, Overwatch or Fortnite and all this stuff. Like, it's just, there's not enough to go around with the budgets they're wanting to have.
I agree with you 100%. It's just they don't see it that way, and they never will see it that way. And it's it just oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just thinking copycat stuff, and like, I was like, oh yeah, Overwatch people, all of that kind of stuff. Hoyoverse.
I'm trying to stop with all the boring business stuff too, but like, some people kind of like, I see people ask quite a bit, like, why do they make these kind of decisions that aren't necessarily good for the industry? And it's because something that people probably don't necessarily know is that as a CEO of a company nowadays, you don't actually get paid a salary.
Nope.
You get your salary is $1.
Mm-hmm.
That's on paper. You actually get paid in stock. You get paid in like stock options, equity stuff in the company, stuff like that. So essentially, your worth is tied to the success of the company. Which in theory, you think, oh, that's a great idea. Well, not really, because what happens is the CEO is like, okay, well, how can we make a bunch of quick cash right now?
What's good for me?
Exactly.
Right.
They bolster like the worth of the company, make it really good, and then they're like, all right, we've hit the top of the roller coaster. Hey guys, I need to take like a 2-year hiatus. It's just been really stressful, all this stuff. Deuces, I'm out. I'm really happy with where the company's at. Yep, jump off the coaster with the parachute, and then the next guy gets on, and he just gets thrown right into the dumpster fire. That's exactly how it works every time.
Yep.
And that's just the so it definitely didn't work out like probably people thought it was going to, but
yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the next little bit of this one then. So, God of War Ragnarok is finally coming to PC, which we all kind of knew this was going to happen, so PC players will enjoy it and kind of go from there. And I got into a lovely discussion that this got brought up today, talking, and I'll give you just a second, Steve. The guy was going off about how Xbox was terrible because, like, oh, why would you get that? Because their games are also on PC. And I pointed out, I was like, well, yeah, Ragnarok's coming to PC. Like, Sony is doing that as well. He just kind of looked at me like, no, it's not. What the hell? Anyways, Steven, go ahead.
Any excitement over that has already been squashed, because if you notice by the end of the trailer, it does say that you must, on an offline single-player game, you must have your PSN account linked in and connected. So, sorry, 180 countries, you're not playing God of War Ragnarok.
Shock horror. Yeah. Nobody saw this coming.
It made sense when they said they were doing it to keep everybody safe, but who are you keeping safe when you're playing by yourself?
It's not keeping anybody safe. They're just doing it for data metrics.
Think of the children. They're on a mature rated game.
They're doing it for data metrics. That's it. They're just wanting.
I just watched Movie Pass Movie Crash documentary, and I'm like,
my God,
Sony's doing this.
Like it's literally just for the data. Like they want to know how many people are playing. Yep. That's it. The exact thing. Never mind the fact that they can get this like data later from sales rates, but
Simon, so much that they also view each one of these as a PlayStation Network user, so it bolsters the numbers. Like, oh, look at the growth we have of all these users on PlayStation Network because you have forced them to, which is what they were hoping for with Helldivers 2 also. They were like, oh, this is a massive player base. Let's get every one of them to have to sign in without realizing there's a huge chunk of it you just cut out of the world for that little bit of numbers. So
game looks a little short-sighted.
It's not just it's data metrics, it's also data sales. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to sell that data and make a ton of money off of it.
That's going to be, I wonder how that's going to affect the sales of it, because I know a lot of people are waiting on that one, but I don't know.
Also, for all the people that complained about Microsoft like giving away some of their exclusives, eat shit. Sony's doing the same thing. Exclusivity is dead for the most part. It's going that way.
With the PC players and stuff like that, that's just people playing on there. I think what they're talking about is like, we won't go into the whole discussion on this one, but Microsoft games going over to the PlayStation, but not a reciprocation of that. Like God of War's not coming to Series X. And I think that's what that was part of the guy's argument today also. It's like, why buy an Xbox? I can just play the games here. You can only play them on PlayStation. It was a weird discussion. The guy was very hardcore PlayStation player. I was like, good for you.
PlayStation has better shadows.
He did not like when I was like, yeah, I turned mine on for the first time in 3 months. Like, you just don't play games. I was like, you have no idea how many games I play. But it just haven't had an interest in my PlayStation stuff. I pretty much finished Spider-Man and, whatever else. So... All right, on to our next one. Dynasty Warriors Origins, coming out in 2025. It looked nice. Like, it was just kind of it's Dynasty Warriors with a lot of characters. I was like, how many people do we get to beat up this time? And then I didn't really see too much else. Steven, go ahead.
Before somebody else goes on a rant, I just want to say the game looks like it's one player and it's only one character, which yeah, if you're going to call it Origins, let's just start over again and take out all the stuff we've liked about it.
If you're going to call it Origins,
if I don't get my Lu Bu, I'm going to be pissed.
If we're going to call it Origins, go back to it being a fighting game because that's what it started as. Anyway, Chase, go ahead.
Oh boy.
Let's
Take a
put
deep
time
breath,
on the
maybe
clock.
a sip of water, and go.
Yeah.
Can Dynasty
Remember,
Warriors
breathe.
fans just get a fucking win for once? Like, it'd just be nice. Like, I really enjoy the series. Obviously, I've made that pretty apparent. But it's just like, I don't know. Like, I've been reading stuff on like other people's takes on it, and what it seems like to me is, I think it's gonna be I don't think it's 10. I think it's a spinoff, and I think what they're doing is they're kind of inserting like that Wolong like style gameplay a little bit into this. They want to, because I think they want to see how well it sells, and because if it's successful, then this is probably where they'll take the series. Because I don't think they really want to continue the series as just we remember it. It's just, man, though, is it frustrating? Just because the simple fact that, like, you know, fans for ages have been begging for a 3, 4, and 5 port to the, you know, to the newest consoles, because that was kind of what they considered peak. Koei Tecmo's just said, like, we don't care. Like, we don't, you know, and it's just, man, is it frustrating, because they've been doing, they've had success with Neo, and they've been having success with, like, Souls-like games, so that's just what they're been sticking with. And Swan, you're getting Lu Bu. He is in the game. There's people that picked apart the trailer and found different pictures of different characters.
Because as far as I know, because I read about it a bunch of times, they're still making 10. 10 is coming out this year.
Yeah.
And it's open world. Why would you go back?
I think it's just because they want to... Yeah, I just think it's because they want to... Samurai Warriors 5 did the same thing. It completely changed. They did like basically a hard reboot of the Samurai Warriors series. They cut down the cast of characters immensely, and they changed the art style. They changed a lot of stuff. So I just think that they're inserting this game to see if it's successful, to see if this is where they want to take the series.
If it's not successful, I'm going to call it Dynasty Warriors Concord.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I don't know. Failures.
I just want Link or Gundams in it, and I'm good. So
Dynasty Warriors conclusions.
Dynasty Warriors developers, it's just a producer or publisher just tearing through all their developers, just like, you're all laid off. Oh God. All right, so that's apparently more of a mess. I just saw a trailer and I was like, all right, it's more Dynasty Warriors. I did not realize there was that much going on.
Let's get to the one Rachel wants to talk about.
All right, let's skip that one then. No. All right.
How rude.
I'm very rude. Infinity Nikki, or Nakai, or whatever it's called.
Nikki.
Super cutesy open world platformer and about photography and changing outfits.
It's Genshin Snap or Style
Genshin
Savvy.
Snap. That's great.
It's like Breath of the Wild, but instead of, you know, if Link had Navi, but instead of Navi being a fairy, it's a stuffed cat, and Link is a girl. And it's fashion, it's puzzles, it looks cute, and the like flying animation kind of reminds me a little bit of Alice Madness Returns.
I noticed one thing I kind of noticed is like when they were showing the clips, their movement is just the same animation over and over again. Like they would show them boosting to different places and with that same brief animation, and I was like, you're going to see that a lot.
She when she glides, she T-poses a little bit. Just a bit of a T-pose. But the environments look really pretty. They do. The environments look really pretty. The music, that's what really got me in the first trailer that they showed for this, was actually the music, because it's jazz. It feels like Persona music, but without the existential dread.
That's
Chris
the best
is like,
part.
Wait.
I know. It's the best part of the Persona music. And I love the Persona games precisely for that, which is existential dread jazz.
I never saw it coming.
Exactly. But my point is that I love jazz music when it's used well in games, and I think this one uses jazz music well in that it makes it fun and delightful and cozy. So I will probably be picking it up. I don't know if it's coming to anything other than PS5. I'm not sure with those graphics. I'll have to research that because it looks
Probably. I could see it being on PC, but
I can see it being on PC. I don't think the poor baby Switch could handle it, but it could try.
Switch 2 maybe.
Yeah, I was going to
Maybe.
say, not yet.
Yeah, but no. This is the only game that when I was like looking through it, I was like, okay, this one I might try because it's cute and it's got puzzles and it's got jazz music and it's open world. Let's give it a shot. But yeah, it's I'm pretty sure it's already a pretty popular series overseas.
I thought this was new. I didn't know it was a series.
No, it's like I think it's like a mobile game thing.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
So this is the first like iteration of the series onto consoles. I could be wrong. I'll have to double check and look that up. But I remember when the first trailer like came out, like God, was it last year or year before?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh yeah, this series is finally coming over to the States. And of course, the most delightful thing from it was that it does have English voice acting, which I was worried that it was not going to, because that happens a lot. And
Yep.
Nothing against people who play, games that don't have an English voice cast. I just get totally pulled out of the game when it doesn't. That's the reason why I didn't get Tokyo Mirage Sessions. So,
yep.
Moving on.
Chris, you okay? That eye roll, you didn't stretch first, man. All right, moving on. Ballad of Antara coming 2025. Very pretty. Seems like it's going to be kind of another Souls-like. Like I'm seeing a trend of like a lot of those. We talked about earlier, a game gets made, gets popular, and others are repeating it. That's kind of Souls-like for me for a lot of stuff now. But
yeah, everything
Steven,
is Souls-like now. Look at that crab game.
Souls-like Overwatch clones.
Yep. Steven, go ahead.
However, this one is free to play.
Oh
gross.
God,
Disgusting.
And it's co-op up to 3 players.
Ew.
That's a micro.
Chase is like, yeah, we'll download it, play it for 5 minutes, and be like, let's decrease Sony stock.
Nothing could be worse than Damnation, dude. Like we've already hit rock bottom.
Well, there can be worse. That's games stuck on PlayStation VR too. So move on to our next one. It looks nice. It's finally getting PC access, but who actually owns one? I don't even see them for sale anymore. I'm just saying.
It is on sale right now. It's $150 off for the days of play.
No, I mean, I don't even see it in stores anymore. No GameStop, no other place. Nobody carries it.
The PlayStation Portal, then. Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, probably.
The what?
Yeah, that thing. So Skydance's Behemoth coming PlayStation VR 2 fall 2024.
From Skydance Films.
Yeah, it's very detailed first-person gameplay. Still requires that hardware that a lot of people just don't have. I'm kind of hoping for a PC release. I did like how this looked, and I think it would be fun. But we'll have to see.
You can get the PC adapter for the VR set, though.
Initially, when I read through the notes here before I watched the thing and I saw Skydance, I was thinking of the Skydancer toys with the ladies with the wing arms, which would have been, to me, more fun.
I know what you're talking about, too.
But that's because I'm a girl who had those toys growing up, and that's all I came to say.
Fair enough.
So, as the resident VR enjoyer, Shanoa, I showed it to her after I got off work, and she was like, "Holy crap, this game looks amazing!" So she's really excited for it. She basically said it looks like what Skyrim should have looked like what she thought Skyrim should have looked like. Like it looked a lot grittier, a lot more like.
You mean
modern.
VR, right?
Yeah. in the sense of VR. But but yeah, the game looks good actually. Like she's got a PSVR 2 headset, so I'll probably play it. She'll probably play it. So
it's just a question of how do you move, because moving in Doom VR was horrible.
Looks like it's more the same. Looks like you kind of like teleport.
And I don't believe when he shot the arrow, I was just like, that had to be a quick time event, because no way somebody's like Hawkeye right off the bat.
Probably.
You can get there is a VR archery game that I play that you actually can get pretty good. You learn the arcing and so forth, but like I don't know. Well,
this one he caught an arrow and shot it right back at him perfectly. I was just like,
no,
stop it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tentatively excited. Like I want to see more. And she said the same thing. She's like, I'm not gonna just be like, I'm gonna buy it off of a trailer, but it does look, from what we saw, it does look good. Looks enjoyable.
And I joke about the PlayStation VR 2 hardware, but like I said, I really haven't seen anywhere, at least here locally or during my travels, that sells it anymore. You're the first person I've talked to that actually owns one.
We played the
none of the people I talk to online or around here has managed to get it. Like we have Quest 2s, Quest 3s, things like that, and
I see them everywhere. I want to pay what I paid for the first one, which was $2.99, and I got 2 games with it.
Yeah, this one costs more than the actual console, and that's without any games. So I'm like, we'll see.
We played the like my first VR experience was actually the Horizon game that came with the VR headset when I got it for her for her birthday present. And man, I'll tell you what, like I am deathly afraid of heights. And there's a scene where you start like shimmying along this rock, and you can actually look down, and it's just like a 300 plus foot drop down into a river. And I was like, holy crap. Like I know I'm standing on the ground, but I actually like played with my head for a little bit. I was like, this is pretty cool.
Cause like I've messed with VR for a long time. I've had a VR headset since the original Oculus development kit before they were publicly released. I managed to get sent one and was working with that for some projects, but yeah, it needs to be available to be a platform that people can use. And I think right now that's what's holding it back, is it's like, yeah, it's nice and fancy, but developers are not going to be as willing to make stuff for it with such a small market.
When they Helldivers VR.
Yeah, I think the problem was they priced. That would be insane. The problem was they put. I love the technology they put into the headset, like not needing the camera and stuff. But I think because of doing that, they priced out too many people. They priced out their market, is what they did.
I think their other big problem is the fact that it costs that much. They're now being forced to allow it on PC, which I'm calling it now. They're probably going to be having to release these games on PC as well. That's probably part of why they're doing it. Like, get our hardware so you can play their VR and our VR on PC. Because that's the biggest thing that Quest can do. Everyone's like, well, it doesn't look as good just on
VR
the Quest.
It's not backwards compatible. Get it straight.
Yeah, you can't do that. But like with the Quest,
I didn't like that either.
Yeah, I wish it had been back. Because I have a good collection of the first PlayStation VR.
Same.
Like I would love to play those. But you get a Quest and Quest 2 and stuff like that, and I can hook it up to my PC. You know, I'm playing Valve VR games and stuff like that. They need to have that, and they're finally kind of catching up, and we'll see if it's too little too late. But, all right, down to the next VR game. Alien Rogue Incursion.
Would you say Rough Excursion?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
It's coming out holiday 2024. It's a work in progress. They made sure to be clear of that, but it looks rough. So I'm hoping this was just bad CG maybe before the game releases later this year. Like I kind of like the idea behind it, but I don't know. I think we need to kind of give some of these Alien games a break for a little bit.
It needs some isolation to get better.
Yeah, isolation I think is still the high bar. Like
it needs a nap.
Yeah.
Tuck the alien in. Give it a little pat on its heads.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think that the Aliens franchise definitely lends itself to a good VR experience.
It does.
Like as far as horror is concerned and stuff, but you're right, it did look rough. And I also kind of get the feeling from this maybe that they were like, crap, we need another, like, well, we only got one VR game. Oh, who's making another one? Oh, they are. Make us we need a trailer for it. They're like, we don't have a trailer. Like, this game's like still in. No, give us a trailer right now.
Good Lord. Yeah, they kind of, the bar's been set so high with stuff like Alien Isolation, which even just a port of that in a purely VR form would, I think, be more accurate to this. This feels like they're trying to have the sneakiness and the stealth, but also trying to mix in like the gunplay of Aliens. And I don't know how well that works in that kind of environment, you know, because VR tends to be a little bit slower for a lot of things. Yeah. Which, I agree, Steven. Helldivers would be insane. Can you imagine having a Bile Titan just come running at you at that size? You're just like, oh my God.
That would be pretty cool.
You get sick every time you get explode and your body goes flying off and you're just like, ah. Oh man. All right. Next. So we finally got to see a little bit more on Marvel Rivals, which is getting a closed beta starting July 2024. No word yet if this is coming anywhere else, but right now it's PC and PlayStation only. If you do play it on PS5 or get it there, you get the exclusive Scarlet Spider costume, because Sony just loves to milk their connection with Spider-Man on this stuff, I've noticed. It's looking more and more like an Overwatch skin mod. Like, that's not really a negative, but like, if I just told someone this was a mod
in this though, which is good.
That's true. It looks very fun graphically. It's very clean, but it kind of feels like I've already played this for years. So I want to try out the beta and see. Does it feel different? Like, is Marvel being attached to it going to be enough to bring me into this, or am I just going to be like, well, that's pretty, I'm going to go do something else?
Yeah. As a big Marvel fan, I don't care about this game.
Fair enough.
But Yuri's in it.
Listen.
Of course he is.
I love Yuri. Y'all know this.
He's probably in every game we've mentioned.
I love him so much. He's probably in every game that we've mentioned. But I don't Overwatch type games. I don't care.
You think Caleb will go for it? Because Caleb loved Overwatch.
He, probably. I mean, he also loved Spider-Man, so.
Very true. I could see that.
This sounds like his thing.
I was going back and looking through at some of the characters that were there, kind of seeing who showed up, because they were showing off Venom. I saw Adam Warlock, and they actually have a pretty good selection. They're Spider-Man. I wish they had a more normal suit. I get they're going to try and do all these weird variations of them, but sometimes they kind of, you fall too far, guys. Like, just let them look like themselves. Like, Doctor Strange does not have to look like some crazy wizard all the time. So,
but he is a crazy wizard.
He is, but he kind of has more of a particular style. He is strange. All right, I walked into that one.
Mm-hmm.
You need new outfits for people to buy, otherwise the game is worthless.
Correct.
That's very true.
Like Avengers.
Overwatch,
that's why they should have included Wasp.
Multiverses.
Because, Chris, if you're familiar with the history of Wasp, I think they had decades where never had the same costume twice in one issue to the next, or even in the same issue, she would change. It was almost a running joke. Like, she is a microtransaction person's dream.
There you go. Some suit saw that and like, I have no idea who that is, but I like the clothing.
Wasp season pass.
Right. We'll just tire with Ant-Man.
Wasp battle pass.
Oh, God. Wouldn't be the first time they've done a character particular battle pass, and that went over well, didn't it? All right. So our next one is Where Winds Meet. This one kind of looks like another Souls-like game, but it has a beautiful art style. And I'm going to repeat that a few times because that's kind of how a few of the games were for me. Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, none of us really care. All right, moving on. So Until Dawn is getting a remake. This is coming to PS5 and PC. And the faces look more like the faces.
So wait. Okay,
no, before you say anything, the game looks worse.
No, listen. No, I'm not defending it at all.
She's just confused.
I watched so many people I admire on YouTube play through this game. I watched friends stream this game. I've watched this game be played so many gosh darn times. And why in the heck would you do a remake and not just do another game? Like, just do an Until Dawn 2. Just do another one. Do a follow-up. Do a sequel. Do something else.
My question, was Until Dawn released on PC originally, or was it just on PlayStation?
I think it was on PlayStation. Just on PlayStation.
Yeah.
I think this is a PC release, and they're just like, well, if you're going to remake it and modernize it, we want it on PS5 as well, and I bet you that's how this got made.
Well, then here's the question. Why does it look worse then?
Because people are going to pay for it no matter what.
No.
I don't know. That's not the first time that's going to happen. There's actually another game
I think it's the Unreal Engine. It's Unreal Engine 5. It's not Supermassive's proprietary engine, and that's why it looks worse.
So you think they're just trying to translate the original face scans? And
they're pulling a Batman where Batman in HD now on the newer systems, but it looks worse because the newer Unreal Engine, people didn't know how to use it.
I was so disappointed by that. All right, so next up is the first game that I actually did like. It was happy news for me. All right, so we have Path of Exile 2. Early access starting late 2024. And I was a little iffy on this one at first, but when they were showing it and talking about it, I'm like, oh, this actually seems good. It's fun looking, very detailed art style, very Diablo-like. It has couch co-op, which is something that I think should be brought back more often. And I'm glad to see that, which is drop in, drop out couch co-op. There is online multiplayer, which includes full crossplay and cross progression. So this will be coming to other systems as well. But everyone will be able to actually play together, which it should be that way. This could be fun. I was like, hey, good game. Looks looking great. I'm not too familiar with the Path of Exile games, but I'd give it a shot. I like a good Diablo-like.
I'll have to ask Shano about it, because I think she's played the first one. She likes a lot of games like that, so she's probably pretty excited for it. I'm excited just to be able to play. It's another co-op game to add to the list.
Yeah,
you guys have fun.
I don't know how many people it can play online, but I mean, just the fact of having couch co-op in the year of our Lord 2024 is nice. It's not just a Nintendo thing.
With a different coat of paint. Next,
it's what game?
Divinity 2.
That was a really good game.
All right, fair enough. All right, our next one here. Silent Hill 2, that remake has finally shown more gameplay and stuff. And I have to say, while the environments look fantastic, the faces, as soon as I saw them, how they designed them, look like they took the character models from the PS2 and Xbox releases and let an AI decide what their human-looking or realistic rendered faces would look like, and then ran with that. It just feels like such a mismatch. Like, the world looks great, but their faces just look weird to me.
Unless they're pushing like a Resident Evil remake where they change the voice actor, so they need to change the face. I don't know.
Maybe. And I'm not saying that they did use AI. I'm just saying that is kind of how it feels when you look at it, because you see all those people that are just like, we wanted to see what this cartoon character looked like as a real person. And it's like, feels like that's what they did. They just fed it the characters from Silent Hill 2 from the PS2 and just, this is what it spit out. And they're like, that looks about right. Let's just do it. Is anyone else excited to play this or even curious to play this? Wow. I've kind of, all right. That's not a good sign, guys.
Listen. I love Silent Hill. I do. I love it. I will not play it, but I will watch it be played. So I like the lore, I like the story. I have very fond memories of playing all the Silent Hill games, including The Room, with my friend Alicia in high school. But these developers are going to make weird decisions, especially this one.
I think the best way I can describe this, Rachel, that you'll understand, the faces in this game, I'm reacting to them like you did Peter Parker's face changing in the remake. Because you were like, it's wrong. It looks so wrong.
It's just, why did...
I knew that would get a reaction.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like that. Don't Don't remind me of that trauma. I was just getting. I had just accepted it in the Spider-Man.
It's never
2
going to
game.
end. It's never going to end.
I don't get it.
All right, next one here, second to last game. So Monster Hunter Wilds coming out for PS5, Series X and S, and PC. We finally got gameplay of it. It's looking really good. The environment seemed to change over time, which they had some variants before, but it seems like this actually changes during gameplay. And then you can also kind of trick different monsters into different areas to use the environment to your advantage. They showed them kind of teasing one of the monsters over into this desert area to get stuck in a storm, while they were knocking down rocks to kind of separate it from a herd of other ones. So that was kind of cool.
First fully voiced too.
Yep. I still want to hear more of the voices. I'm like, I mean, it'll be what it is. Everything looks really detailed, almost too much, if that makes any sense. The creatures, like their faces are like stretching and morphing with how they're animated. And I guess it's just a change to the art style. I'll get used to it. It's Monster Hunter. I don't care. It seems like all the weapons are back. Like I was seeing a bunch of them that I haven't seen in a while coming back. So that's great. As long as I get my hammer, that's all I give a damn about. my hammer and my switch axe. And then of course, if you have saves from Monster Hunter World or Monster Hunter World Iceborne, you get special feline armors for your little characters to have. So Steven, go ahead.
And in a last ditch effort to sell more in Japan, they're coming out, all of them, for Xbox in Japan.
Really?
Yes. So better late than never. Monster Hunter World and Iceborne will finally be coming to Xbox in Japan around the same time, around the end of this year, to get ready for Worlds.
Interesting. Okay, because I didn't even think about that, because we've had them here the whole time. Because Worlds, I played on Xbox.
Yeah, and you think something that's a Japan darling, that you put it on your Xbox, but it's like, I'm not going to release it over there.
No kidding.
Until now.
Wow. Okay. Didn't know
That's
that.
a decision.
It is. That is the decision. Go ahead, Chase.
Keep in mind, Worlds was the best-selling Capcom game. So, but yeah, the game looks good. I'm excited for it. I really enjoyed Worlds. Hopefully we can get the crew back together.
I still prefer Rise for a lot of it, but we'll see how this one goes. Because it was definitely, World was a shot in the arm for the series for a lot of people. I think it's the more publicly liked one. So
yeah.
Now for the game of the show.
I was actually, these last two I was happy with. So like, they at least were finishing a little better. All right. So we're getting Astrobot from Team Asabi coming September 6th of this year. Looks like you can use different animals for power-ups. Like you were using a dog as a jetpack and frog gloves to swing on things. Of course, there's tons of PlayStation character references, both characters that you find as well as hardware being vehicles, because there's like a PS5 Starship and a PS5 DualSense jet fighter, which that's nothing new. Steven, go ahead.
If you watch towards the end of the trailer and you pause it, there's a slim PS2, original PS1. There's every console in like spaceship form towards the end.
I love that.
God.
So I really love the Astrobot game that basically came on the PS4 console. And it was just like a product to essentially test look at what your DualSense can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I had so much fun playing that game. Like, so with this one, I'm like, sign me up, Buttercup. Astrobot was fun. I didn't play the VR of Astrobot.
Mario or Kirby, because of the amount of stuff you can do.
Yeah.
And I think that's smart. Like this is an IP that Sony should run with to celebrate their, decades of games. Do like Nintendo does, like, celebrate that and let people enjoy it and, dive around in it. Cause that's what I enjoyed with the other ones. Because this is the third or fourth Astrobot game I think they've made, because it was PS4,
Third.
they did PS5, there was the VR
Yeah,
one.
it was the demo of the controller, like Rachel said.
Right.
Yep.
Then there was the rescue mission, and now it's this one.
Yep.
Yeah, because the VR one was actually really good too. That one
Never
was a
played
lot
the
of fun.
VR one because I didn't have a PSVR. So
I liked that one because they had platforming parts that you were walking around it. So you would actually move in that space to see around, like girders and things to jump around in. And I was like, it's a really cool, fun use of that 3D space. That's why I said a lot of it for PSVR. They had so much more success with that first one because they made it affordable. They made it accessible to people and kind of ran with it. But yeah, so definitely getting this one when it comes out. I'm looking forward to this to see what they have. So we'll go around the group real quick just to kind of give a little bit of a rating for this PlayStation State of Play. Chris, we'll start with you. You've been more quiet about this one. Kind of, yay.
There's
nay?
a reason.
Yeah. Ooh.
When Astrobot comes to PC, I will approve the State of Play.
Damn.
Next.
Yep.
That's not a letter grade.
No, I wasn't expecting a letter grade. That says a lot.
Wow.
Steven, what about you?
D for disappointing.
Okay. Chase?
I mean, there's like 3 games in there that was like, oh, this looks promising, but yeah, I'm gonna say D-, actually.
All right. Rachel?
I'm not even gonna give it a grade. That
Retake
those,
the whole school year.
Listen, you know those assignments where you just get a participation?
Yeah.
That.
Oh, you
It sure was a show.
Sony's been sent to summer school.
Like that. And I normally, give Sony the benefit of the doubt on some things, but I was just like, I heard about it and I was like, oh, State of Play. And then I was like, this is really what feels like a random time to have a State of Play. I'm like, it's not even June yet. I don't think this is going to have anything notable in it. And boy, was I right. So
yeah, I
that's
think
why I didn't watch it until like however long before the show started. And I just really fast forwarded through most of it.
I watched it in its entirety earlier and I was messaging Steven and I'm like, it's never a good sign watching a State of Play going, when is this going to end? Like, I have to agree with you guys and give this a D. Like, it's just... The only thing keeping it from being absolutely terrible is Astrobot, Monster Hunter, and I was like, well, at least, Path of Exile 2 looked fun. Beyond that, I just kept questioning, why are these here? Why does it look like this? Why are we focusing on these kind of things? And just, this is why I don't turn my PS5 on that much. Like, give me a reason to do it. So,
Just remember, Chris, when Astrobot does come to PC, you better have a PSN account.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For your own safety.
That you never were able to delete, ever.
Tell that to the other 108 countries that want to play these games.
No kidding. Well, if they don't get paid enough, they're not going to care. All right, so let's move on to our last bit of news before our big question this week. I trimmed a few other things out because I was like, well, just for saving on time, we can talk about some of this stuff later. But this one I wanted to talk about.
It wasn't that exciting.
They really weren't.
Only to you and Rachel. Oh, yeah, I know.
Fair enough. All right, so The Legend of Zelda is a beloved series. We all love it. We all play it. We pay money for it. Lego hates my wallet, doesn't want me to actually eat, and just wants me to order things. Those two bastards have combined. We're getting a Legend of Zelda Lego set, and in a marketing hell that is only made in a crossroads somewhere, it's one set for 2 great iconic pieces, so you have to buy it twice to get both. The Great Deku Tree from Ocarina of Time and from Breath of the Wild are included in this, but not at the same time. So you can make the Great Deku Tree from Ocarina of Time and have the parts to make the little tree house for Link. And it comes with Child Link with the Deku shield and his sword, and Adult Link with a Master Sword and the Hero Shield. Or you can make the almost cherry blossom covered style from Breath of the Wild that comes with Adult Link and Zelda from that game. And each of those has extra little things. Ocarina of Time has the Deku Sprout, which is the one that pops up at the end of the game. Spoilers for a very old title now. And then Breath of the Wild comes with the Hestu Korok, which is the one who will buy all the Korok seeds from you with his little maracas and eventually give you golden shit.
Go ahead, does the Lego set for the Breath of the Wild version, since it includes the Hestu, does it include the Golden Dookie?
I wish it did, but I don't think it does.
That's a shame. That seems very meme level that Lego would do, but maybe Nintendo said, no.
When you build the Breath of the Wild version, you get the last piece in there. It goes, hey!
And then it just generates itself?
And then it gives you a dookie. There you go.
I see. I see. I understand now.
If they let you use the Lego Mario, the actual playset, if they just had one little block and you set him on there and it did that sound effect, that would be the deciding factor of me making the Breath of the Wild version. I'm making Ocarina of Time. That's been decided for me, but that would be a temptation.
Yeah, I'm still going to make Ocarina of Time because I didn't get far enough to see anything from Breath of the Wild like that. So I was
Here is the question, though.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going?
That's a good question.
Are they going to do more Lego sets with Nintendo?
I don't know. This one is already $300.
They're going to do more Lego sets.
They're going to do more.
I'm going to buy this.
Hyrule Castle?
Yep.
We're getting Hyrule Castle, and I don't care who I have to, what kind of blood or plasma I have to sell for that.
Hyrule Castle, and this might open the floodgates to do Mario stuff, and we could get Peach's Castle, Bowser Castle.
I think they've done a version of Peach's Castle with some of the Lego sets.
Not really. It's like a cheap Lego set.
Yeah, it's like a smaller one, but
yeah.
No, Hyrule Castle I would probably do. I'm trying to think what other big play sets they could do, because there's so many the big bosses they could do from the different games.
You know what would be really fun if they did? Midna.
Oh God.
The imp version of Midna. I think that would be fun.
I would get that.
Then you have to get Wolf Link.
So the one I think they're gonna do, because here's the kicker with this. This set was called part of like Project Moonrise or something like that. I will put money on the fact that I think we're going to get the moon from Majora's Mask, and along with the Deku Kid and with the mask, that Link, possibly. I would love.
I only have 3 days to build it.
And listen, if they're gonna do the moon, are they gonna do the giants to hold up the moon, or is it just gonna be the moon and it's on like a weird plexi
so much more expensive?
Or is it gonna be on a weird clear plexi stand that comes with
it? A hammer so you can smash it after you're done.
So given their love of making these big sets open up and do things, which by the way, the Deku trees, their mouths move and stuff like that. Like they actually can look like they're talking and opening doors.
That's entertaining.
So I could see that moon opening and being the little final battle area inside, or maybe the inside of the clock tower with the mask salesman or something like that being inside there. I'm calling it now. I think that's going to get made, and I will buy that and hang it from my room like an absolutely terrifying thing. So Steven, I guess just you and I are going to go broke buying these.
I'll buy that one. The Majora's Mask, maybe I'll buy it just to set it on fire. But
damn.
Because that's how you boycott things. You buy it and then you destroy it. Okay.
I thought you had taste.
Not in Majora's Mask. Ugh.
That's such a good game. Play it. We got a really good PC port of it now. All right. So from one argument to another, let's go into the big question for this week. Speaking of Zelda sound effects. So with the unprecedented success of X-Men 97, showing a faithful means to continue an old show, what cartoon from your childhood would you like to see continued in this way? And by that, I mean like where the show left off, we're going to pick up so much time later and just continue with that story and kind of explore it. Let's go, Steven. Let's go with you first.
First, I'm going to go for the blatantly obvious one because they only got, 9 of the 13 treasures or something like that?
Oh, wow.
Pirates of Darkwater.
Okay.
You know, you
agree with that.
You don't start the whole thing with a whole lore saying you're going to get all these treasures. And then they're like, no, we're going to stop after this many. So that was something that, like, okay, you guys can finish it any day now.
Well, the other treasures were just the travel with your friends along the way.
I quickly though, I wouldn't mind a Captain N reboot where maybe they dip all the other characters in some kind of Who Framed Roger Rabbit dip, so they die and we get the new versions instead.
You don't want Mega Man?
Mega Die is more like it. And then because I didn't mind the pilots, I would like to see how people would take to a continuation of the weird Battletoads pilot or the Bubsy pilot.
Oh my god. That would go over very strange.
What could possibly go wrong?
A lot. Rachel, we'll do you next. What about you? What cartoon series would you want brought back?
Okay, so I have it narrowed down to 2.
Okay.
So with the possible success of Beetlejuice, I think now would be a time to continue the Beetlejuice animated series because it ended kind of in a weird way. Beetlejuice had separated himself into 2 separate entities and terrorized the hometown, Peaceful Pines. I believe that's the name of it, if I remember correctly. It's not Winter River, it's Peaceful Pines in the series. So, but terrorize him and then he goes back to normal and then it just kind of but there was it felt like there should have been more like going on and there was other stuff that was going on and it was just kind of a meh conclusion. So I feel that now's the time for another animated Beetlejuice. They could continue off of that. I mean, they have a perfectly fine voice actor that they can use, Alex Brightman, because he voiced him in the Teen Titans Go crossover weird thing that happened, which I thought was delightful, even though I'm not a big fan of the musical, but I did like his performance. So there's that. And then also, if X-Men gets the redo if X-Men got the not reboot but continuation treatment, why can't they do it with other Marvel shows? Come on, Spider-Man the animated series, like
98 though,
maybe.
Yeah,
there's
I will interject. I know you haven't seen it, but I have to tell you they did get permission from Sony. They did put Peter Parker, just Peter Parker though, in one episode, and they gave him his Mary Jane.
Well,
that's good.
2 things on that. One, they don't need Sony's permission for TV, anything other than movies.
Yes.
Marvel can do all the shows they want without having to have Sony involved. They just have them as we're going to be nice to them because we want to work with the movie stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he showed up twice and they did confirm. They were like, yeah, we just wanted to at least say he did get Mary Jane back and then kind of went from there as a nice little.
So now there's a huge petition for Spider-Man 98.
Oh, I'd watch it. I love that show.
Original voice actors actually teamed up with Yuri at the last Comic-Con they had, and they both did the Shocker voice dialogue, which was hilarious.
Yeah. I think though, like what with the success of X-Men 97, I think it would be a good move for them to make.
Because those cartoon series were connected back then, connect them again now.
They can connect them now.
Yeah.
That opens up a whole world into more animated Marvel series in that universe. Think about it. It'll be great. It'll be awesome.
All right, Chase, you're next.
Just got a few that I rapid fire off. Really, back in my childhood, I really love SWAT Cats, so I'd love to see.
That's a good one.
That was a good show.
I'd love to see that come back, but I don't think it ever will.
That left on a weird cliffhanger.
I love it.
It only got 2 seasons. I think 14 episodes total.
I think there was a Kickstarter for a reboot, though.
Yeah, there was, but
yet.
No. It was just I really loved that cartoon when I was a kid. It was so good. Space Ghost, really enjoyed that when I was a kid too. You see a theme here, a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff. Johnny Quest, that was a lot of my childhood. My mother and I used to watch that together all the time. And then last but not least, I really, really, really am a big Batman fan. So Batman the Animated Series, absolutely love that. Would not mind in the slightest if that came back.
The only thing with that is it kind of is still going, though, because that went from animated series to Justice League Unlimited to the movies, even into the one they're doing right now with Crisis. It's still got attachments to that as well.
There is another new one that they're coming out with too, though, that is Dini again doing Batman. It's just with a new cast because too many are missing from the originals now.
Yeah.
I'll have to
they
give
had
that
talked
a look
about
then.
it. It's kind of neat.
That one does look good because everybody's got a redesign. Even Harley Quinn looks scary instead of corny.
All right, Chris, what about you?
I'd probably go with two. The Mysterious Cities of Gold, which came out around the 80s, and it had that cool El Dorado feel to it. It was one of those, you're lucky if you're awake for this kind of thing sort of show, like The Adventures of T-Rex, which I'm sure very few people know exists. And aside from that, Mighty Max, which had Tim Curry as one of the coolest villains ever, Rob Paulson as the titular character, and one of the darkest endings I have ever seen in a kid's cartoon. Literally everybody died. And then they just pressed the reset button and went, oh, wait, time travel. Let's do it over. So now we have a thing. Let's do it over. But Max knows how everybody dies. Let's see if he can fix it this time.
Oh, God, it's like the worst Groundhog Day.
Exactly.
That's why Chris loves it.
Exactly. Don't eat that banana. Oh.
Well, he's eating the banana. We're pretty much doomed. Let's just give up now. He just kills them off and starts it over. Why are you killing them? We're already done, and we're trying to go for the time record. Oh, Lord. So for me, I'll dig into some of my love of stuff from the 80s, and this one's kind of a twofer. Thundercats, as well as Silverhawks, both of which ended kind of weird. They were kind of growing and then stopped, but there's been more hints at trying to get new stuff coming back with it, but also kind of hinting that Thundercats and Silverhawks are actually in the same universe, like they exist together. And that would be great to actually explore. There's the third of that triangle, which is the Tiger Sharks one, which I did not watch that much of because it was so hard to see it. Like it was just never aired anywhere. But Chris knows about it. You know about that one.
It was part of a mid-'80s show called The Comic Strip, which was a variety show for very weird cartoons. So, yes.
So, every time I think about Thundercats, Jeremy, I think about the two other times they've tried to do Thundercats, which was the one that I liked.
Yep. Which they canceled. I wish that one would be continued as well.
I know that too, because that one was good. And then whatever the heck that was after
Universe
that.
one.
Yeah.
It looked funny. I at least wanted to say, like, I'm okay if they're playing around with it, but it's just weird.
That was it though. But yeah, no, that's one of those things that I think about sometimes.
That's the Teen Titan Go effect.
I adore what they did with He-Man when Kevin Smith touched it.
Oh,
that was tremendous, and I liked it, and I didn't like then that they changed it again. But Kevin Smith did an amazing job with He-Man.
All the He-Man stuff that was good. Even She-Ra was good. So
2011 just came out at the wrong time.
It did.
It came out a little later when we got Voltron, when we got He-Man.
Yeah.
We would have been ready for it.
Right show, wrong time.
Yes.
Do you think it would have done better on Netflix versus Cartoon Network?
Yes.
That, and again, released later on when people were ready for it.
I think it's like, they were trying to put it on, an edgy show and market it to older kids that were still watching Cartoon Network, but that's not who they should have marketed it to. They should have marketed it to other people on Netflix and the adults that watched Thundercats growing up.
Yep.
So
the other one that I was thinking of was the 1980s Dungeons and Dragons cartoon because they never really got home. You know, they kind of continue from there.
They were in the movie.
And I was going to say, they show up all this time later in the movie in one of such a hilarious cameo. You don't see him die. You see him maybe die, but that would be a great place to start off. Like, maybe we can find out how they got there or how they got out and continue on their adventures. And I hope they're working on a sequel to that movie. I would love to see them pop up again. Like, they just keep being in the background. Like, they just won't go away. That'd be great. So, yes, that is the two that are three, technically, that I would like to see.
And to answer your, or to finish the question, Chase, the show is called Batman Cape Crusader. And after HBO Max did not want it, Amazon picked it up. So it's going to be 10 episodes. Okay. 10 episodes from both the voice director and the creator of the original Batman animated series. So it is a spiritual sequel.
Yeah,
that's good.
Kevin was supposed to be involved with it, but he sadly passed away. So they didn't get a chance to record anything on that. I think the last thing he did was
Suicide Squad, wasn't it?
No, he actually did do lines for another movie, the second and third parts of the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually watching the second one here soon, but he's in that as one of his last times as Batman. That's the other one where they have Jensen Ackles as Batman, and I'm like, he's good. He's a good fit for that.
He's good.
Between that and he also played Red Hood, and he did really well with that.
He's
I thought
good
that
at
was
his
a
job.
good one.
What can I say?
So, all right. That's another one we should have a discussion sometime for our favorite voice actors or people that you don't expect to be voice actors. All right. So we'll go ahead and wrap up this extended episode. But with 5 people, we kind of expected it was going to happen. But once again, we're not going to have normal shows for the next 2 weeks. So next week, around the time you'll be seeing Steven and I with our first playthrough of Snatcher, at least for me, while he laughs along at the misfortunes of everything I do wrong, which is great. Or what I do right with weird things with masks that he didn't think you could do. And then the following week, we're going to see about trying to either do an extra quarter or we'll see what's going on. We all have lives. It happens. But if you're watching this video over on YouTube and you'd like to listen to us, we do an audio version that we have on Apple Podcasts, over on Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can get your podcast. Just look for the Zenspath Entertainment Network and we will be there. Feel free, please leave us a review. The 5-star review helps us out a lot. Leave a comment, whatever, share it with people. If you're listening to this and you'd like to actually see the whole group of us, which we are growing, there's now 5 of us this whole time. I get to reformat everything, but that'll be worth it. I missed everybody. You can watch the video version over at YouTube at youtube.com/ZenspathCom. There, once again, leave us a comment, thumbs up, share it with people. Even a thumbs down. I don't care. I found out that all treats the same. It's interactions. If you don't like something, tell us. If you do like something, tell us more. Whatever. But beyond that, this has been episode 131 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast, and we're out. Peace.
E3 is coming.
The juice is loose.
Happy Pride Month.
I thought he was dead.
He is. Thank God.
Both.